What is going on, everybody? This is Dylan with Dylan Talks Tone, and we are back in our normal surroundings for the gear news this week. Let's get into it. Oh yeah, before we start, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button and the like button down there, and the little bell next to it if you like guitar stuff, because we have lots of guitar stuff coming this week and next, reviews, all that kind of stuff as well. Let's get into some news. Do you remember the guy who made the guitar out of ramen noodles a few years ago? His name is Art, and and he's from Moscow. And of course, with everything going on in the world, I don't know if you know this or not, but they shut down all of McDonald's in Russia. He was super bummed about that, and he's like, you know what? I'm gonna make a guitar that reminds me of McDonald's. So, French fries, hamburgers, real French fries, apparently, in a Les Paul shaped sort of thing. I just had to share it. I thought it was cool. The dude's trying to smile. He makes a guitar out of French fries. Electro Harmonix has come out with a new 9 series pedal. So what that is one of their synth pedals. They got a bunch of effects in there. One of the cool things about this one is they've integrated their freeze feature into some of the effects on this pedal. I'll tell you what they all are in a minute. But basically what that is whatever you're doing, they have a freeze pedal that basically you play a note, and if you hold it down with your foot, it just holds whatever you just did infinitely for as long as your foot is on the switch, and then you let it go. It's a pretty cool feature. Well, they've integrated that into some of these synth effects on this pedal. So they are symphonic, which recreates like a symphony orchestra and does an octave down on the lower range of the guitar. The Juno, so the Juno analog synthesizer. The PCM, which is an old keyboard basically to do strings. Floppy, an Orchestron optical disc playback sampler. AARP, that doesn't have anything to do with your Hardee's coffee discount in the morning. That's actually the ARP Solina string synthesizer. Crewman, which is the Crewmar Performer analog string and bass synthesizer. The Orc Freeze, so this is going to be an orchestral sound with that freeze effect on it. The Synth Freeze, pretty self-explanatory. And the Vox Freeze, which is a Mellotron sort of deal with a freeze effect on it. These pedals have a lot in them, and if you want to make noises and try to do different unique things, this might be on your list. I'll leave a link to this pedal in the description, as well as to as much of the stuff as I can find on this news. Do me a favor and use those links because it helps us out a little bit. Yeah, pretty cool. Probably won't be able to find a French fry guitar link, though. Andy Timmons has a pretty signature delay tone. I don't know that he likes to tell people how he does it. But what he did do is he got together with Robert Keeley at Keeley Pedals and put it in a pedal. So this has one side, there's 2 buttons. One side is his delay, his super secret delay feature that you just hit a button. And then the other one has got 1500 milliseconds of delay and then like 5 kind of rhythmic different presets as well, with a whole bunch of stuff you can do with this pedal. You know Robert Keeley, he's going to take it to the edge when it comes to trying to do all this kind of stuff. So it's pretty full featured, obviously, but really the kind of the feature that is underneath all the rest of it is that Andy Timmons delay. This has been, they've been like kind of keeping this under their hats for quite a while. I think they released it actually late last week or mid last week or something. We missed the news last week by a couple of days, but very cool pedal. This next thing is pretty cool. My thing about all of this guitar stuff is that I feel like it just doesn't move forward in technology very often. And then sometimes, every once in a while, somebody makes a huge step forward. The latest example of that, in my opinion, is the Black Star St. James series with a switch mode power supply in replacement to a transformer. It's still a tube amp. It's awesome. I've got one right over there. It's amazing. We've got a review coming out about it pretty soon. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. I'm going to try to take it apart and show you what's in there. I'm going to try. I don't know if that's going to work or not, but just keep in mind that I'm going to try to do that. Anyway, what came up this week was this company in Florida called Eminent Technologies. This is a 2.5-inch thick speaker cabinet. Literally, you could hang it on the wall like a picture frame. And the idea behind it is actually bigger frequency response, more tunable, and moving more air over a larger area. So you will literally have a bigger sound out of a more compact package. It weighs 21 pounds, and it gives you kind of the same surface area as a 412 cabinet so that it moves a lot of air. You might think this is a little weird, but they're in the hi-fi arena. There is a bunch of companies that do these do all kinds of ways to move a lot of air over a bigger surface area. The first thing I can think of right now is like a Martin Logan electrostatic, for example. I've got some Martin Logan hi-fi, I don't have the electrostatic ones, but I have some Martin Logan speakers, and their technology is kind of like this, where it's more surface area over a bigger area, even though it's very, very thin. Bringing this to the guitar world is super cool. Now, these are not cheap. They're like $2,500, so I don't know how scalable it is for guitar land at the moment, but I just really like the idea of bringing something like this to guitar world. I would love to have that in this room. Limited space, big surface area, hang it on the wall like a picture. Pretty cool. The Everly Brothers, you may know who they are. If not, ask your dad. He probably knows who they are. Have come out with, they have not come out with, Gibson has kind of honored them with a signature model. So it is a J200, basically, with the pretty unique, and I mean, everybody knows the Everly Brothers if you know who they are. This double mustache, double pickguard thing, and of course all of the other visual flourishes that come on this guitar. You know, it's a 20 fret fretboard, 12-inch radius, normal Gibson stuff, but just the fancy looking thing that looks like the Everly Brothers. They're only making, again, this is another one of those things where they're doing super expensive and super limited. $8,000 with a hard shell case. At least it gets a hard shell case. And I think there's only going to be like 150 of these things or something. Apologize. 30. There's only going to be 30 at $8,000. Will we get an Epiphone version or another non-custom shop version of this? I don't know. You know how Gibson does. But what they'll probably do is if these things have already sold out, which they probably have, then maybe they will make some more. But it's a pretty interesting guitar if you're into that sort of thing. But are you? Charvel has introduced a Jim Root signature. You might be thinking, wait a minute, but doesn't he play Fenders? Yes, he does. However, you know, same roof, umbrella, whatever you want to call it. Charvel has released, basically, it's a Pro Mod San Dimas HH. So you can see it here. It's basically a Pro Mod San Dimas, but it's got a couple of different contours on the back lower horn is one. It's got his, the Daemonium or whatever they're called, active pickups. Kind of tried to sound, their EMGs, to sound a little bit more like passives, but they are active. And of course, it's Jim Root, so it's going to be all white. Or maybe they will in the future make an all black one, but I think all white is kind of his thing. As well as, of course, the Floyd, as well as one knob, because that's kind of the Jim Root thing, right? Is the one knob. This is a very cool guitar. The cool thing about this particular guitar, too, is that it is going to be $1,500. So for a, signature model and kind of more attainable for more people. $14.99. Probably one of the coolest signature models of all time, besides the Machine Gun Kelly Schecter back there, is the Malcom Young Gretsch. Now, you know the one I'm talking about. It's the one that's all stripped down. It's all, the finish is all sanded off. The pickups have all been ripped out of it except for one Filtertron that's been kind of like mangled into the bridge position, right? The trem bar is missing. It's just like this stripped down beast of a guitar. In fact, I think they actually call it that. I mean, it's a really cool guitar. This is one that I do not own that I really, really, really want because I just love the Malcom Young rhythm, sort of clean, sort of dirty through a Filtertron sound. I really, really like that. This guitar that I'm about to share with you, well, this one right here, is the Gretsch 61 31 GMYRB. This is a limited run deal, but this is what the guitar kind of started out as before he stripped all the stuff off. So it's quote unquote the same guitar, but earlier in the timeline before all of that happened. I would personally rather have the later one, but a lot of people are really going to want this. This is a really neat guitar. About 6 months ago, we stopped reporting on Harley Benton because one of the things that I was kind of doing was sort of making fun of them. And every time they like ripped off somebody else's idea, I would just kind of make fun of it in the news. And it's not nice, right? So I stopped doing it because I know many people really care for some reason about Harley Benton. And I do what you need to do. You know, obviously it's, you know, you can do whatever you want. It's a free-ish world, so do whatever you want. Use them if you want, like them if you want, whatever. But we just decided to stop kind of supporting and announcing products about them around here. Except for this week, their new DNA FX Git mobile headphone amp kind of annoyed me because it's an absolute ripoff of the Fender Mustang Micro. And I'm not the only one. The reason this kind of caught my attention, because I just scroll past it and be like, oh, they're ripping off somebody else. But the reason it caught my attention is because other people besides me are starting to say the same thing. So I looked through 3 or 4 articles, you know, I looked at the actual press release and then I looked at like 3 or 4 articles around the internet about this product, and they all said the same thing. They're like, we've seen this before. This is a ripoff of the Fender Mustang Micro. And they would literally put like pictures of them side by side. You know, I don't understand it. I don't understand this whole knockoff culture. I just don't understand it. I know a lot of people like it, but I really have a hard time with it. I don't even know why I included this story, except for every once in a while, something kind of gets under my skin. And that's one of them. I'm not angry about it, obviously. And you can get in the comments and say I'm triggered or whatever, but whatever, you know, it's no big deal. I don't care about any of that. I just think it's very, I don't know. Why? I guess the question, there is no answer, is why. Yeah. Anyway. Do me a favor, hit the subscribe button and the like button. We got some really cool stuff coming out. We got a live stream tomorrow night at 8 p.m. We will be back in our normal studio, me and Leslie, doing the Q&A stuff. I'm working on a review for the Machine Gun Kelly Schecter Signature. I'm working on a review for the St. James 6L6 50-watt combo, which is unbelievably good. Actually, both of those things are unbelievably good. Spoiler alert. And I got some other stuff coming as well this month. We got a bunch of content coming. Probably going to do some pickup how-to-y kind of stuff as well. And yeah, I think you're going to dig it. Thanks for hanging out. Get in the comments and let me know what you think about any of this stuff that you've seen today. Use the links, shop around. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you tomorrow.